because they direct deposited money. But last month we sold our master rights for one of our other businesses to the whole European region for £1 million. That was another good deal. Because one of the challenges with most Australians is that, and most Kiwis, is that they don't think of the world. They think of, like the Kiwis think of the big market being Australia. And, you know, most of the Kiwis in the room know exactly what I'm talking about. They think, you know, we'll bust into the Australian market. Well, Australia's tiny. You know, there's some of you out there running great real estate businesses. Well, what if, I'll give you a story. A friend of mine in the United States owned a car wash. And he had a strategy where when he used it, they sold the wax. You know how when you go through a car wash, they do the wash, but they can also put a wax on that like a hot wax that actually protects and seals the paint. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. He had a strategy which meant he sold 70% more wax than any other person that the wax dealer sold to. So the wax dealer came to him and said, "You guys sell 70% more wax than anyone else." He said, "Really, do we?" He said, "Yeah, you don't teach. Can you show me how that's done?" He said, "No." The wax dealer said, "How come?" He said, "Because I'm not giving it to you for free." What he did is he actually went and he sold the rights to use his wax selling system to every other car wash that would take it through the wax company. Now they endorsed him and gave him a testimonial saying Bob sells 70% more wax than any other car wash in the country. You know, you can make more money training other business people to use your system than you can out of just using your system. Interesting thought. Good question. Back, Mike.
Hi. I just want to know a little bit about your... Sorry?
Your name?
Warren.
Yep.
Just want to know a little bit about your business coaches in terms of, well, I want you to be my business coach.
Won't happen, but yeah.
Why would I be choosing them?
Why would you choose them?
Why would I want them as opposed to, well, you?
Well, A, you can't have me.
Yes, aside from that fact.
Aside from that fact, they're the best trained business coaches in the world. They've got 350 other business coaches that if they don't know the answer, they can go to them. They have 10 days of training with me, well, not with me, but with my highly trained people that have been doing it with me for more than 4 years. They've got 22 manuals on how to increase your business, most of them written by me. And most of them have testimonials up the wazoo from their own clients. That would probably be why. But there's only 2 reasons you want a business coach in my books. One is you want to make more money, or the other is you want to work less hours. If you want either of those things, you should have a business coach. You will invest between $1,000 and $5,000 a month to have a business coach. And they will basically kick your butt. Big Michael over here used to own gyms and run gyms. Mate, wouldn't you want Michael as your bloody coach? Yeah, Michael come around and biff you one. Yeah, no thanks. No, Michael, we'll do coaching over the phone, thanks, mate. Simple fact, why do most business owners not achieve the greatness they set out to? They don't have the discipline. Because what happens after 12 months of running your own business? What do you get caught up in? The business. The business of the business. And what's your whole goal when you're tied up in that? Basically to make enough to pay the bills, keep yourself at a certain level of lifestyle. What do big corporations have an advantage over small corporations? Why is their big advantage? They have shareholders. What do the shareholders demand? Return on investment. Most small businesses, their biggest problem is the shareholders don't demand a return on investment. All they demand is a wage. When you have a business coach, at the start of your coaching program, you will sit down and say to them, "This is my goal. They will ask you a question. Why is that your goal? Then they'll go into detail around how those goals are there. They will invest approximately 2 hours with you defining what your outcome of having a coach is. Will it be the most defined in goals you have ever been in your life? Most probably. Absolutely. And then you go to work on it. Minimum contract, 12 months. Don't want to be there for 12 months? Thanks, but you can go and work with some of the other people out there. Why do we only work with people for 12 months? We want long-term change. We're not going to get long-term change with you in 2 weeks of working with you, are we? Yes or no? No, I mean, we might make some short-term impacts, but we're not going to. So that's why you would want to work with them. Why would you want to be a coach? Well, do you love helping people? Do you like making money? Because the good thing about the coaching business, I'll put it to you very bluntly because that's the type of person I am, but what's your costs? You have 5 clients on $2,000 a month, you're making $100,000. You work 5 hours a week. Isn't that bloody profitable? So thank you for your question. If you want more information on our coaches, please talk to one of the coaches. Go on our website, action-international.com or bradsugars.com. It's all there. Front mic.
Daniel, in your opinion, with the behavioural types and teams and everything, what would you say is the best mix of DIS and C people and say a group of 10 people?
Best mix for a group of 10 people?
So, like, say for example...
It honestly depends on the situation and the outcome of what you want. You know, obviously the best mix, if, like in your business where you need 6 people doing alterations to clothing, you want 6 SCs. You don't want 6 high Is. You want SCs doing the alterations. Why? Do you want a high D doing your alterations on your clothes? Now let's change it. Let's give them a cuff on side there, you know. Let's make that inside leg just go a little higher and see how it feels, you know. You want SCs doing alterations.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you want a high I on your reception desk.
That's the other thing, like in our business, it's just all...
No, one question.
Kind of ties in. It's all together, so the shop is just by itself, so the SCs actually work with the customers and all that sort of stuff. So that's been our problem in the past. We tried to hire SCs for that reason, and we found that the customers it wasn't happening.
What did I just tell you?
You got to have one for each part.
You want an I on the reception.
Yeah.
An ID. Or a DI, so they run the shop plus they run reception.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. Back, Mike.
This follows on from your coaching model. For professional services companies providing consulting services, I kind of think I know what your answer is going to be, but do you have some ideas for the best model that works to increase profitability, given that you're working pretty much on an hourly rate with a fixed amount of hours in a week? How do you leverage, going back to your conversation from yesterday, how do you leverage a professional services company so that you actually make decent profit?
I have some simple rules around business. I will not own a business where I have to employ people that are highly educated, highly trained, how should I put this? No, I won't, I'll be blunt. Highly egoed, believe they're worth more than they actually are, believe they should be paid a fortune when they don't really deserve that fortune. The reason I don't like owning those businesses is because I've been burnt in them in the past. I've found that in a business where I want a professional, I want them to actually own part of their own business, to franchise it basically. If, however, I wasn't going to do that, the best model to set it up, in my opinion, is still the accounting model. The accounting firm model where they have manager and that whole structure built through, because what they have is span of control. And if you want quality control, you need span of control. If you want solid growth, you need span of control. In most of my companies, I don't like a span of control greater than 20 people. So one senior to 20 people that they're coaching. And that way you have I won't say a standardized model, but you have a solid structural model. What I did in setting up my business with Action International is I took the accounting model, I took the network marketing model, and I took the franchising model, and I combined all three, and I made it into one business. And using that model, my franchise has been able to, well, this year we should be number 30, somewhere between 35 and 30, maybe even up to 28 fastest growing franchise in the world because of what we've done. And very, very few Australian companies have ever, well, there's only 2 Australian companies that have gone to more than 5 countries, 2 Australian franchise groups. That's Bartercard and myself. Bartercard did it through mainly acquisition of other territories, whereas we've done it through growing our territories. We're now in 19 countries. By the end of this year, we should be in 25 countries. It all depends on how big you want to grow it. One of the other very good models for growing a business that's based around professional services is actually run here in Sydney by a gentleman by the name of Roy McDonald at Strategic Management Works. His model is solid. I'm not sure I agree with other things that happen there, but his model is extremely solid, whereby the consultants own half of their own business. You know, he owns the other half within his structure. He brings in the leads, the consultants all do business with all of the leads. Professional services businesses, it's all about productivity. It's all about how productive you can get your people. You know, so, once again, when they're salaried and bonused staff, hopefully they're team members, it creates a challenge there. The next stage is to say, okay, how can you leverage those people? For instance, several accounting firms I work with, they no longer do business plans the old way. One of our companies is actually a business planning company, Icon Business Solutions, and what we do is we have a program whereby you can do a business plan where you're actually filling out a questionnaire, and in doing so, it's actually building your business plan. So a lot of the accountants we work with now, they actually own a license to that program, and they will put 40 of their clients in one room and do it that way. So that's why in your industry, can you go to seminars, can you go to workshops, can you go to highly leveraged stuff where your hourly rate jumps from $200 to $5,000 an hour? Those sorts of things where you do it. The next thing is you have to remember the 2 lessons Buckminster Fuller taught about leverage. Taught 2 very important things. In life, we need to create models and artifacts. You guys should write this down. This is vital to being wealthy. Models and artifacts. See, when I teach business, I have a model. I have a model by which I teach everything. Every single part of my business is developed around a model. It's like with the phone stuff, there's 10 performance standards. With growing a business, there's the 5 ways model. Does that make sense? But also, every single thing I do, I create artifacts, books, tapes, videos, CDs. Because when I sell a book, I wrote it once. I print it for $3. I sell it for 30. Well, most of the bookstores buy it off me for 12, but, you know. But does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
You've got to get some leverage into it. So,
very good
question.
answers. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Front mic.
Hi Brad, Angie Wernert from Donate Online. Best way to brand a new business, like with minimum outlay or no outlay?
Brand a new business?
Yeah.
Why would you want to brand it? Where are you selling to?
Okay, it's an internet-based business and
Right.
it's fundraising for charity. So it's sort of a new concept. No one's ever sort of put all different charities onto the one website.
Okay, branding is done only by television. Branding is a TV thing. If you are not on television, you cannot create a brand. The only other way to brand is to be like a real estate agent where you have 400 signs in the local neighbourhood with your name on them. Okay? So for something like what you're doing, we're talking about public relations. We're talking about television stories about what you do. Unless you have millions of dollars, it just doesn't happen, branding. So my suggestion is, okay, how can we do what's called guerrilla marketing for you? How many of you remember Messages on Hold doing their guerrilla marketing at the AFL football in Western Australia? Does anyone remember that? What they did was they gave out, you know, the blow-up hands? They gave out like 5,000 blow-up hands to fans of the football over a 3-year period. So when you see someone kick a goal, what's the person at the back of the goal holding up? A blow-up hand with messages on hold. One of the strategies I looked at, because you know how they banned blow-up balls at the cricket? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Okay. What if you went to the cricket and gave out 5,000 blow-up balls with your logo on it? Now, the Cricket Trust might come after you. But the simple fact is, will you get on television that week? Absolutely. No. What's the distinction? But branding is a TV thing. I'll probably bring you back from that and say, fundamentally, the fastest way to grow a brand is to make sales for a small to medium-sized company.
Well, to build awareness so people know to come to the site then.
To build awareness so you come to the site, go to a website. For anyone that wants more hits, go to a website called ineedhits.com. ineedhits.com. That is what they specialise, getting hits to your website. What they do is they get you ranked in the top 10 of your area. So if someone does a search on charity here in Australia, or around the world basically, you can tell them where you want it to be. It starts from like $2.50 a week or something really cheap. So all the search engines are really those things, but you have to find those that do all of the search engines in one. That's one site that does it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, thank you. Back Mike.
Okay, I'm Erica Steele from Donate Online. That's my partner. I was just actually going to ask how to get a free database for email marketing. So I guess
How to get
that's
a
sort of-
free email marketing database?
Yeah.
Well, seeing as you're a charity, you could actually go to one of them and get them to give it to you for free, and you actually give them a registered donation. Because do you all know that if you make a donation of in-kind goods, the charity can actually write you out a receipt for the full value of it? So if you've got old stock that you know you'll never sell, you can donate it to the charity. They can give you a receipt for the value of the goods, even though you paid half that for them. It's good. It's really good. We do it in Queensland. My charity, we actually have a monthly warehouse sale where companies donate all of their unsold stock to us, or their scratch and dent stuff and all of that. We give them a full receipt for it, tax deduction. And it only costs them half that. So, and then we sell the stuff. So, how you would get a free database for the internet? Does anyone know how to get a free one? These days, I know we pay for most of them. Where do you get them from? There you go. Go and see him.
Thank you.
This is the last question. This will be an easy afternoon.
Hi Brett, I'm Tom. I sell materials handling equipment to the transport industry, basically. A machine that lifts containers on and off trucks and trailers and drives
Right.
it around the yard. They cost about $250,000. And I found my greatest challenge...
Sorry, just a couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
Do you normally sell one at a time, or would a company buy
Yes.
5 or 6, or
One at a time.
normally? Okay.
Yes. I got some repeat sales, but I normally sell one at a time. My greatest challenge is to get to the decision maker. I find that if I get in the beginning to the decision maker, he says, go to my logistics manager, for instance, to finalize it all. But then when I make that guy very enthusiastic about it, and he can save $100,000 a year by buying my machine on his bottom line, but then it goes to, say, the board who has to make the decision, and because the machine is so new and it looks different from anything else that's in the world, I got a feeling that they switch off a little bit, are afraid of making that decision and say, oh, well, we keep on doing what we are doing. Very
Right.
often, sorry.
So your question is how
How do I get to the decision maker? Because I can be eye to a person and make him enthusiastic for the
Okay,
machine.
my
He says, yes,
suggestion
we
is you
want
film
it.
a video.
I have a video.
You have a video. Does the board ever get to see that?
I don't know.
Okay. When you talk about you have a video, how long is it? What does it talk about?
5 minutes. It talks about the benefits of the machine, and it shows how the machine works and what you can do with the machine.
Okay, so you're getting to the decision maker to start with, you said.
No, I don't get it. Well, sometimes I can get to a decision maker, but very often then he says, because he says he's a general manager of a larger company, he says, I'll talk to my logistic manager. But most of the time, about 90% of the time, I start with the logistic manager. That is the guy who knows the business, who understands what I'm selling, and who understands the benefits of my machine.
Right.
But very often then, it stops there.
Okay, so what you've got to do is you've got to turn that logistics manager into your salesperson. You've got to turn them into an advocate, so they love what you do so much that they will actually take the video and show it to the board. Okay, so your whole job, once you've sold them, is you say to them, look, I would like to come and present it to the board for you. What will their response be? No, 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 please, no, you can't do that.
That's right.
You say,
yes,
well, that's
right.
okay, I won't come if you promise me that you can do it. And you turn them into your advocate. You turn them into your salesperson for you. At that point in time, they're not showing the video. Have you ever suggested to them to show the video to the board, or?
Oh yes, I do, yes.
And what has been their response?
They normally say, yes, I'll do that.
So
Whether
the board
they do it or
does
not,
get to see it?
I don't know. Got no control over that. They don't see that.
Okay. When you're selling it, are there usually 4 or 5 others making a pitch at the same time as you?
Yes, often there are 2 or 3 people involved in it.
So your competitors are...
Oh, sorry, no, not my competitors. I haven't got competitors with my machine. I'm the only one who's got that. I compete against other ways of doing things.
Right, okay. Is your machine more expensive up front and they get a savings over time?
Of course, it is an investment that they have to make, and the investment, the return on investment can be anything from 6 months up to 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but so obviously it's more expensive up front.
Yes.
All right.
Well, that depends, again, when they buy it, and of course then it is more expensive up front, but I can also lease or rent, so, the cash flow,
absolutely.
in a lot of cases, the cash flow is straight away positive for them.
Okay. So here's a simple thing. When you're in that scenario, you're faced with one of 2 choices. Either you let the sales process go into the hands of the person you're selling to so they can sell it up the line, or second of all, you become you actually push your way through and actually get in front of the decision maker. When you're dealing with the logistics manager, do you have to go to board mostly or general manager mostly?
No, the logistic after the logistic manager, you mean?
Yeah, like in most cases, I'm assuming that the logistics manager doesn't go to the board, they go to the general manager.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Well, about 50-50.
So your job is to get in front of the general manager, that's true and correct?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, do you have like a corporate box for the football or cricket or something like that?
No, not big enough for that yet.
Okay. You're selling a $250,000 piece of machinery, you're big enough for that.
You have to start somewhere, of course. You have to sell a few first before you can do that.
Okay.
I'm getting there, but...
Let me put it to you simply. The fastest way to get managing directors, general managers, et cetera, in front of you is whining and dining. It is the fastest way. You want to get someone at that level in front of you, you have to invite them to something that normally they wouldn't be able to get to. Give them your right arm, yeah.
Okay.
That's generally the way I would do that type of business. If I'm selling $250,000 worth of machinery, I'm taking a guy to the cricket, playing golf with them, inviting them to a golf club that they usually couldn't get onto. Taking them for a game of golf with Jack Nicklaus or whoever the famous golfer is that they like.
Yeah.
Another strategy for that is you actually find out which charity the managing director sponsors or really enjoys or likes to donate money to. And you actually make a donation on their behalf if they give you a meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Going to them through other avenues. Good question, thank you. Front mic.
Hey Brad, I'm James Corn. I'm in the sale of master franchises, should I say state master franchises. And these are new startups. I generally source them overseas and bring them to Australia. I guess My question is to find firstly my target market, to actually get these people, to find these people has been a bit of a challenge for me.
Yep.
And also getting those in the same context as the right people. You know, we get a lot of the tire kickers who eventually say there's no money, and I feel like the target is not correct. But since it's a new business and it's